Good morning, all. For fifth semester A section, I'm hereby going to introduce introduction for DBMS lab with mini project with the code 18CSL58. So the lab contains two parts. Part A, where you will be doing with SQL programming, which will carry maximum of 20 marks. So then part B, mini project, so maximum marks 30. So, in part A, you will be doing with five database exercises. You will be creating the table, you will be inserting the data, and you will apply the queries on the data, whatever the tables you have created. In the part B, using the knowledge of part A, you will be able to develop mini project using front-end tools, HTML, PHP, and the backend you are going to use XAMPP. So we can decide on a database and on which database you are going to do the project and all. So let me get along with let me introduce for part A. So all of us, we know that data is any useful information which is stored in computer's memory. And database is an electronic system that allows data to be stored in a well structured manner that can be easily accessed and manipulated. So DBMS is the software which will enable us to create, access, and update the database uh, uh, operations. So this is what the introduction to database, and DBMS. For this, without taking much time into the theory introduction, as you will be studying all the theoretical aspects in DBMS theory, let me get into SQL. We are going to use SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language. So, as the name itself indicates, you are going to query something. So, what do you want to query? You are going to query the database. Okay, so SQL, structured query language, is used to access and manipulate the database. So, what are all the things SQL can do? SQL can create the new tables in the database. It can create stored procedures. It can create views. At the same time, you can insert the records into the database. You can update the records. You can delete the records. Then you can execute the queries against a database, and you can retrieve the data from a database. So this is all can be achieved using SQL. So again, with SQL, before getting into the queries, we have to create the database. So DBMS mainly helps us to create and manipulate the database. So SQL, we have two parts. One is DML statement and DDL statements. So DDL stands for data definition language. DML stands for data manipulation language. So, data definition language means it allows to change the schema of the database, whereas data manipulation language will allow us to manipulate or update the database, manipulate in all the ways. So, it provides queries to manipulate the database. So the DML queries mainly we are going to study select, which will extract the data from a database update, which will update the data in a database, delete will delete the data from database, insert will insert new records or data into the database. So this is what manipulation means. So whenever you are dealing with data, we say it is manipulation language. So when we are doing with schema of the database, we say that is data definition language. So DDL will tell you which are the, what is the table name, which are the attributes, what are the constraints on the attributes, is there any connection between the different tables, what is the primary key, what is foreign key. So everything will be defined in DDL part of SQL. So under a DDL part of SQL, we will come across three main queries: create table, which creates the new table; alter table, so which is used to modify a table. Modify a table in the sense we are going to modify at the schema level. We are not going to say about data. So when we say about modification of data or altering the data, that comes under data manipulation language. So when we are changing the schema of the table, we say that is alter table command. And drop table, the whole of the table will be deleted by using drop table command. So at the same time, unlike other programming languages, data type in SQL, we have special categories. So to begin with, it will support integer type of data. So you can declare the data type as int or number whenever you want to do with the integer kind of data. Next, we will do, in order to do with the character type of data, we will use the data type as varchar. The latest version is 2, so varchar 2 of x it will do. So where x is the number of characters. So boolean will do with boolean kind of values like true or false. So date will store year, month, and day values. Time, if you use the data type, it will store hour, minute, and second values. So these are the main type of data types we are going to use in database. Um, so database means here database table, uh, one or two tables will not make a database. A database may contain any number of tables, any number of one or more tables. So each table will be identified by its name. So table contains the records related to the uh, data. So related data will be contained in each of the appropriate tables. As you can see here, basically fifth semester students will do with the relational data model. That is the data is represented in the form of relations. So relations is nothing but each of the relation is identified by the relation name, or we call it as table name. Here we are going to indicate it as R, and each of the table relation contains attributes A1 to AN, or we can say columns also. And once the relation name and attributes are ready, so we are going to enter the data into the tables, and data is stored in the form of a record, what we call it as a tuple. So each row in the relation we are going to call it as tuple. So here is one example. The name of the relation is student. The attributes are A1 to AN, which are roll number, name, department, and tuples are 101 STEAM computer science, 265 Johnson finance. So these are all the uh, tuples of the relation student. This is how we are going to create the different relations of the database or different tables of the database. Without taking much time, So we will start using the XAMPP server. XAMPP server introduction already given in another recording. So let me begin with the XAMPP server and let me give the commands for to create the database. To create the database, to create the database, we will use the command. We will use the command create database followed by database name. So let me create database. Database name is college. Let me create CIT college database CIT college. Then with semicolon. Okay, it will create a database. So I showed in the PPT also. To create database followed by database name. So here I created the database, create database CIT college. To drop the database, we will use the command drop followed by database name. So let me come to it later. Whatever the database we have created, we will use it. So for that, the command is use followed by database name. So let me use. So I've created the database by name CIT College. So let me use. So database change to. So now using this database, in this database CIT college, let me create table which follows the syntax like create table followed by table name, within the parenthesis column name followed by data type, comma, column name, data type. So like that it will end with close parenthesis followed by semicolon. So let me create one database, one table in the CIT college. So let me create a table student. Create table student. Within the parenthesis, let me create USN, which is of type int. Let me have another field, student name. Let me give the data type as varchar of 30. Let me give sem. Then let me give integer. Section varchar of, let me give. So this is what the creation of the table. So it followed the syntax create table, table name followed by the column names. So here create table student. The fields are USN of type integer, student name that is S name of type varchar of 30, sem which is of type integer, section which is of type varchar. The table created. So to see the structure of the database, so this is what schema of the table is. So which are all the fields, what is the name of the table, any constraints are there, what is the data type of each field in the table, we can see by using a command describe followed by table name. So I have created one table student, so let me give describe student. It will give you so the fields, different fields of the student table are USN, yes name, SEM, section, and the data types are int, varchar, int, and varchar. So there are no other constraints set as of now. So if you want to know which are all the tables present, we can have a look by having the command show table. So I have only one table, so it is showing student. That is what it is shown in PPT also. List the tables of a database. So I have created a new database by name CIT College. The tables existing are only one table I have created, student, so that is shown. So once the database is ready, the table is ready, we have to insert data into the table. We have to create tuples for the particular table by using the syntax insert into table name values, value 1, value 2, like that. So let me insert values for insert in student values. So if it is integer data type, no need to include within the course. Otherwise, we have to include within the course. So USN, let me say 100, have included it as integer. So name, let me say Jyoti. SEM, let me say fifth semester. Section, let me say A. Sorry. It showed one row effect. So let me insert another value, 200. Let me click Mahesh, 5th semester, A section. So in the same way, let me introduce 5th one for B section. Let me give Ram. So it introduce three rows of data into the table. To see that data, so whatever the records we have inserted so far, so is it inserted into is it stored in the table? How to check? We will use a command select star indicates all the columns from the particular table name. So we can execute in variety of ways. So if I give select star from student, it will give all the field names along with all the rows of the data. I can select only some of the columns. So if I give USN, comma, yes name from table name also I can give. So it will select only the two fields USN and S name from student table. So this is what to show all the data in the table we can use select statement. Next, we can alter. We can add one more column, or we can delete one existing columns. So we can modify the data type of the existing table. That all can be done by using the alter table command. So which is under DDL statement. So data definition language, which modifies the schema of the table, which will not do anything with the data. So you can do addition with addition or deletion with respect to the schema. Okay, so let me use the same syntax alter table. Let me add one more uh, column. So alter table student, add column is the keyword I'm going to use. Add column. So which one? So I want to add some subject. Let me introduce grade. Grade varchar of 5. So it will let me check what has happened here. So describe student. So it has added one more column grade by alter table command. So in the same way, you can drop a column in the existing table by using drop column name. So alter table, alter student, we can use drop column name. So drop, let me drop grade only, which I have added now. So I don't have to specify the data type. So alter table, sorry, alter table student drop grade. So it will drop. If I do once again describe student, I can check only four fields are there, four columns are there, USN, name, SEM and section. Grade is dropped. So in the same way, we can modify the data by using the command alter table name, modify column name. So modify the data type of the column. So I can change, alter, table, student, modify, column name is uh, USN. Let me convert it into varchar. So you can see describe student. So USN from integer it converted to varchar. Along with creation of the tables, basically, we can add different constraints to the table. There are mainly we will be talking about primary key constraint and foreign key constraints here, which are used for accessing the data from the different tables. So we can create like immediately after the column name declaration, we can declare it as primary key, or at the end by declaring the constraint, we can declare the primary key, which will be the uniqueness constraints for all the rows of the table. So which can uniquely identify all the tuples of a table can be done by declaring primary key. How to declare? So let me create another table. Create table employee ID varchar varchar of, let me use integer eid integer. So let me declare here only primary key and key name varchar of 30. So it takes primary key constant. Now I can check while inserting how it is unique. So primary key doesn't accept repeated values, and it doesn't accept null values. So insert into employee values. So employee ID is 100. So name is Ram. Okay, it will accept. So if I give select star from employee, it will take. So now if I try to insert the same value with a different name, it will not take. Let me say Raj. So it will give you duplicate entry not possible for primary key. So it will not take the repeated values. So I should change the, so it will identify all the tuples of relation uniquely from employee. So let me drop employee table. So to drop that, I can give drop followed by the table name. Drop table employee. So okay, it will delete, it will drop the employee. And once again, it is a DDL statement. So I can create the primary key constraint in another way at the end. Um, so here, I will show you when I come to foreign key. So foreign key means whenever the values of one table will be referring to the values of the other table, we say it is a referential integrity or foreign key constraint. So we should say which field of the particular table is referring to which field of the another table, where you can club the data from multiple tables using primary key and foreign key. So in order to declare a foreign key, we will use the keyword foreign key followed by column name, and we will use the keyword references followed by table name, and within the table name, which is the column. Because in one table, there can be any number of foreign keys, but there can be only one primary key. So here we have created one table, create table student name, USN, EMPID. So here we have done EMPID in student as foreign key, which is referring to the table EMP1 of EMPID. We are following the same syntax here. So let me create employee table again with the primary key concept, foreign key concept. Create table employee. Let me have the ID integer. Rename varchar of 30. Suppose if I am a mentor, I want to know which employee is mentor for which student. So let me use USN. USN. So I have to give varchar only, whatever the data type is there. Let me create the salary. And here I can declare primary key at the end by using the keyword constraint. So constraint, what is the constraint name? So K1. So primary key of the ID. Primary key of the ID. So it will take primary key as employee ID. In the same way, I can create another table. So create table. Let me create student 1. So here also let me take USN integer. Yes, name varchar of 30. Let me take the constraints here. So constraint equal to primary key of USN. Let me take for foreign key FK1. Let me use the keyword foreign key. Which is the foreign key I want to make here is second. So in the same way, we can create the foreign key. Foreign key by using the constraint foreign key of column name references table name of column name we can give. So primary key will not accept null values and will not accept redundant values. But whereas foreign key will accept redundant values and as well as it will accept null values also. The only condition for foreign key is it has to refer to the primary key of the other table, reference table, and the data type of the foreign key and primary key referred should be same. So this is what the points to remember with respect to primary key and foreign key. So this is what the introduction to DBMS lab, which is starting from SQL creation of tables until the creation of foreign keys to insert the data, to manipulate this data, to query the database we have done with some basic commands. Let's take up the first exercise in the next session. Thank you.